President Trump recently announced that he plans to relocate a part of the US troops that are being stationed in the European Union countries. To tell the truth, in Ukraine this news was perceived not very good. In your opinion, is this a right thing to do for the US administration, or it's not so?
Well, of course, I don't see what the strategy is. I mean, this move is not connected to any strategy. It sounded more like petty retribution against the German Bundeskanzler. Now, if these troops, whoever they are, if they move to Poland or Romania, for example, that's not a terrible thing, but that will take time, because wherever they go, they have to have barracks, they have to have ranges, training areas, maintenance, all that stuff. So I don't know what this is about other than just retribution. If that unit, if it's a unit, if they're going back to the States, or if they're being inactivated, this is a terrible, terrible thing to do. And this is the kind of stuff that the administration does without explaining to allies why, that creates distrust, and that's bad for the United States.
Also, President Trump several times said that NATO is a paper tiger, and he seriously considers that the US can leave this alliance. How do you think? What should be the contingency plan of NATO in case the United States leaves NATO?
Well, look, I think the United States is not going to leave NATO. The president continues to use terrible language towards allies. He's critical of the alliance, but I think most of the Republican leadership in the Congress understands that it's in our interest to stay in the alliance. It's, by the way, the president legally cannot just do it unilaterally. That was a law that was passed thanks to Senator Rubio in the last administration. So I think what we'll continue to see is unhelpful language from the president, and of course, he's correct to be unhappy that not everybody in the alliance has done what they should. So there is frustration that every president has had. What should NATO be doing? NATO should be having a long-term view of this relationship. Don't overreact. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. But it would be appropriate for Europeans to accept more responsibility for air and missile defense, logistics, so many other things that are required that the U.S. has normally provided the most. I think Europeans need to quit talking about it, and they need to start doing it.
If I may, one last question regarding the war between Russia and Ukraine. Recently, several Western media, Western analyticians, they say that Ukraine might be regaining this strategical initiative, taking into account heavy losses that Russia has on the battlefield and long-range drone strikes that Ukraine did on the oil refineries in Russia. In your opinion, is it too optimistic, or Ukraine is on the way of regaining this strategic initiative?
I am more optimistic now than I have been in years. It's very clear, it's obvious that Russia cannot defeat Ukraine, that the momentum has shifted. That doesn't mean there won't be more terrible nights and that it's not going to be very difficult, but it's very clear that Russia cannot defeat Ukraine. Ukraine has figured out how to stop Russian forces. Russia has not figured out how to undo that. Russia still attacks and kills innocent Ukrainians almost every night. So Ukraine is only able to stop maybe 90% of those, but still some get through. So I think ideally a combination of shooting down missiles, but also destroy the factory where they're made. Kill the archer is better than just trying to intercept all the arrows. I think Ukraine's theory of victory is really based on destruction of Russia's oil and gas export industry. I mean, that to me is the key. And so the more long-range weapons that Ukraine is able to develop, the better. Now, I encourage Europeans and others to invest in Ukraine. Either get your company to build something in Ukraine, or actually invest money into Ukrainian defense so that they can produce more. I think really in the next 10 years, Ukraine will be the heart of Europe's defense industry. So it's impressive to me, and I think nations in the region need to start positioning themselves where do they want to be when this ends.